Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Alvin Kumar, and now you're watching Just Go Ride Bikes. Alright, so a couple of months ago, I told you guys that I have installed bearing instead of bushings. And a few of you guys asked how I did it. So it was very simple, a little bit of thinking. And this was a huge risk I took because this bike was not designed to put bearings in it, because they initially, if it was designed to put bearings in it, the manufacturers would have put bearing in it. Anyways, so I did that. I'm not sure if there's any damages to the frame as yet, and today I'm gonna take it out, have a look if there's any damages or if there's any wear done to the bearing, the bolt or the frame. And I will also show you guys how I changed what were the tools that was needed. Alright, so the first tool that I needed was a vernier. Like every household should have this one. This comes very handy, especially measuring round stuff, or measuring diameter or circumference of any object. And also needed is a 4mm hex wrench, two of them. This one you can use for opening the outside bolt, and this one you need to open the inside. Alright, so I'm just gonna show you two, but there are four, so two on top and two at the bottom. So I changed all four from bushing to bearing. If you're changing all four, it's a good idea to take out the tire at the back, which makes you walk much easier. Alright, so the first thing I needed to measure is the bolt, which was the circumference of the bolt, which would give me the inside of the bearing. Alright, so this comes to 7.85, which is around 8mm. So we need a bearing. So I needed a bearing that has internal diameter of 8mm. And then I took out the bushing and measured the outside, which comes to 12mm. Outside of the bearing, which comes to 11.94, which you can round it off to 12mm. Alright, so that gives me the size, internal and external dimension of the bearing that I needed. So external 12mm, internal 8mm bearing. I got this bearing from Amazon. Just type in 8 by 12mm by the thickness. So Using a vernier, measure the thickness of the bearing, which comes to 8 millimeters. Alright, so but on Amazon there is no 8 millimeter wide bearing, so instead I bought two 3.5 millimeter bearing. So two 3.5 millimeter bearing goes in one where you put pivot bushing. So 2 by 8 by 12 millimeter by 3.5. Does that make sense? Okay, let me simplify. So you need two bearings that has an internal dimension of 8 millimeters, external dimension of 12 millimeters, and thickness of 3.5. So two of those bearings goes in one side. All right. So now, right now I'm looking at the bearing. Everything is looking good. And so, and one more thing, like online on Amazon you'll see two types of bearing. One is the flanged bearing and the other one is the flat, just a normal bearing. Let me show you. Alright, so this is a normal flat bearing. Alright, and this is something like a flange that has that looks something like a hat. Alright, I hope you can see that. So the reason why I did not took flanged bearing is because this bearing is made of steel. Alright, this is brass. Brass is weaker, like it's not strong enough than aluminum. Alright, so that means this will get worn out faster than the frame. Okay, if I put steel flanged bearing in here, guess what will happen? It still won't wear out. It will start cutting into the frame. So what I did, I got plastic washers. Alright, really thin plastic washers. Really thin. It's about 1 millimeters. I like it will like thicker bushings will not go in there. Thicker washers will not go in there. Alright. So once I got the bearings, I used thread lock to put it outside the bearings and slot it inside. Okay, let me just show you a closer angle. Alright, looking at it closely, you see I've already installed the two bearings, and I used a thread locking glue outside the bearing and put it in so the bearing does not move out of the slot. Then what I did is put some grease in there. I don't have any grease right now, but I put grease inside to reduce friction, and then put on these plastic washers like that. And then this is the difficult part, and because the washer keeps on moving, put it back in. So if you do both sides, so it's easier. Then carefully push it in with some luck. Alright, it went in. Same thing for the other side. This plastic bushing is really important. I see there's some wear going on. the bushing. So nevertheless, no matter what I do, there still will be wear. Okay. Sometimes you have to use the Allen key just to line it up, just to help it. Yeah, sometimes it will be easy, sometimes it will be hard. So just be patient. Yep, this is the problem. Sorry about that. All right. That's it. Now put these bolts back on. Make sure not to do any cross thread. Be patient with it, there's no rush. Alright, let me just put the camera back. Alright, so there you have it, guys. That's how I installed switched bushing to bearing, all four of them, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you guys think about doing it, then let me just warn you, they're like this is not a recommended stuff. You can do it at your own will, and I did it on my bike just to test it out. There's still some wear on the frame as well as on the bushings, so I thought I was gonna stop it, but wear will happen. And it's really important to have vernier, measure it out, internal diameter, external diameter, and tools we obviously have it, grease, thread lock, the minor stuff, but most important is this. And yeah, there we have it. That's how I installed, that's how I changed from brass bushings to bearings. So this is not the bearing that I use, this is a different bearing. Just to show, I only ordered 8 of it, so 2, 4, 6, 8. 2 bearings go one side. So there you have it, guys, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Till then, stay safe, wear your mask, and just go ride bike.